Israel and Iran traded fresh fire, shattering an already fragile ceasefire in West Asia. Iran fired salvos of missiles at Israeli targets, calling it a warning after Israel struck Beirut's southern suburbs. Israel retaliated by hitting targets in Iran, including a petrochemical plant in its southwest and military targets elsewhere. This drew another attack from Iran and even Yemen's Houthis targeting Israel. But even as the region edged closer to a wider conflict, President Trump insisted that a deal with Tehran remained within reach. He said new strikes would not affect the administration's peace talks with Tehran.
And how close are you to making a deal? Are we talking about days, weeks, months, Mr. President?
I think we're very close. We have a couple of points. They don't even seem like big points. They've conceded the fact that they will not have nuclear weapons.
The president also cast himself as the ultimate decision maker on Iran, declaring that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would have to accept any agreement he reaches with Tehran. In an interview with the Financial Times, the president said, and I quote, "He will not have any choice. I call the shots. I call all the shots. He doesn't call the shots." Earlier, Trump had tried to rein in Netanyahu, urging him not to retaliate after Iran launched its first direct missile attack on Israel since the April ceasefire. But within hours, Israel struck targets across multiple Iranian cities. That response, despite Trump's public warning, immediately raised questions about his claim of calling the shots. The American leader now faces a test of credibility, reassert control over his closest ally, or focus on preventing a broader regional war. So what are Trump's options? He could threaten to delay, restrict, or condition U.S. arms transfers and intelligence support if Israel continues acting unilaterally. Washington could also lean on Qatari and other back channels to convince Tehran that Israel's response was limited, an attempt to keep the collapsing ceasefire framework alive. Or Trump could abandon de-escalation altogether, blame Iran for the breakdown, and authorize direct U.S. military action against Iranian targets. That option risks dragging the United States into a much wider war. A scenario that would sit uneasily with the America First instincts of his political base. If Trump refuses to enter a direct war, the conflict could evolve rapidly. Israel may increasingly rely on long-range strikes, covert actions, and targeted attacks against Iranian leadership. Iran, meanwhile, could raise the cost of the conflict by threatening shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Gulf states would likely shift into self-preservation mode, moving closer to either Israel or Iran to keep their own infrastructure out of the crosshairs. Trump has repeatedly insisted that Washington and Tehran were close to an agreement on ending the war. He has leaned on Israel to stop its attacks in Lebanon to allow room for a deal, but Israel has not fully halted its Lebanon campaign. For its part, Tehran has made clear that any lasting agreement must also address the conflicts in Lebanon. With both sides dragging in and digging in, the big question now is whether the region is sliding towards another major escalation, or perhaps more importantly, who is actually calling the shots. WION spoke to Dr. Mir Javed Anfar, lecturer of Iranian politics at Reichman University in Israel, and this is what he told us.
President Trump is in control. He's in control, and yes, because President Trump, despite the fact that he wants negotiations with Iran to succeed, he doesn't want to be seen as abandoning his ally, Israel, while it is under attack from Iranian missiles. Actually, the same works regarding Iran. The Iranians entered this war because they don't want to be seen as abandoning their ally Hezbollah. And this is both Trump and Iran negotiating through, again, low-intensity conflict through their allies. The Iranians are trying to strengthen their hands in the current negotiations, and they're trying to increase their gains from this war by saying, okay, we ended this war by establishing deterrence against the state of Israel through our missile attacks. And from now on, every time the Israelis attack the Dahiya headquarters of Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Israelis will know that we will attack them directly.